Hey guys, good morning. So today I got a 10-mile race. It's called a Capital Pursuit. I haven't been getting the best sleep lately, so that's been very frustrating. But it's a beautiful day here. We're out here at Easter Lake Park. So I'll give you a little, show you a little view. It looks really nice. Weather's not too bad. In fact, it's beautiful out. And the goal for the race today is actually not to go all out. So I was talking with my running mentor slash coach, and he's really nice. His name's Mark, and he's kind of just been helping me and stuff. And so basically for today, the plan is to it's a 10-mile race. So, we actually got 30 minutes till the race starts. So try to get a little 1-mile warm up in, do some stretching. And the plan is to basically simulate the goal marathon pace that I have. So I'm doing the IMT full marathon on October 19th. Today's September 14th. And the goal is to basically hit that 6:05 pace as close as I can. So try not to go too fast, but also not too slow. And that way, it'll give me a good feel for what I'm going to be trying to do for the marathon, because my goal is to break 2:40 for the marathon. The other thing is, in addition to not getting the best sleep, I'm kind of annoyed at myself for this, but on Friday, I did some legs basically, and I did some hip thrusts with the hip thrust machine. So normally I've just kind of been doing unweighted glute bridges, just like on the floor, and I decided to add 45 pounds on each side, which isn't like a tremendous amount of weight because I used to do it before, and I've been able to do up to 3 plates on each side for a decent amount of reps, but obviously I haven't done it in a while. And now I'm also running much higher mileage than I was when I did it back then. So my glutes feel pretty sore. On top of that, my left calf my calves feel tight or a little sore for some reason. So I've stretched it out, tried foam rolling the glutes area. But you know what? Yeah, I know I sound kind of like a Debbie Downer. Jeez, that's cringe. I know I sound pretty negative right now.
Why are you so fucking negative all the time?
But, I'm just going to go out there and just do the best that I can. Really try to hit that goal marathon pace. Got the super shoes on, and hopefully get back on track, try to get better sleep. Now, I'll show you a quick view of, the lake. Looks pretty nice. Yes, as you can tell, it's beautiful scenery. I've never been here before. It's my first time. It looks really nice, and we're just gonna go get that warm-up in, and we're gonna just do the best we can to hit that marathon pace. And yeah, so that's all I got for today, and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, wow, it's still the morning time, it's 10:40. So we finished the race, didn't really go as planned. In fact, it's actually been over an hour and I just drove back to my apartment. I'm not going to make any excuses. I did not run the way that I wanted to. But I've decided for once that I'm going to look at things in a new light. So, I mean, even though I didn't race as well as I wanted to, you know, normally after every race, I'm just really frustrated. And obviously, I was still frustrated. When I don't perform well, I don't feel like talking to anyone. I'm usually very upset. Some people will say like, good job, you did great. And I'm just like, nah, I feel like I did terrible. And obviously, it's just who I am because, I have high expectations. And when things don't go as well as I want them to, I'm not just going to sit and just be like, yeah, I did great. When in reality, I just didn't perform the way that I wanted to. And that's okay. But when I decided to look at things in a new light is that instead of spending like, I think usually for me it could be like several minutes, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, just venting over the frustration. I went for a cool down mile and I told myself, you know what, it happens. And I tried to look at some of the positives. So not really looking at these as excuses, but looking at them more as like, despite this, I was still able to do this. So I don't know what place I got. I don't know my exact time, but according to my Apple Watch, it was just a 10-mile race, and it's in my average pace was 6:33. My goal was to go at that 6:05 pace, and that just did not happen, and, it's frustrating. But the thing is, still got the marathon coming up in a month, and that's going to be the real goal. I still have time to recover. I would say the biggest thing is, I have not been getting the best sleep. This morning, I think I got a little over 6 hours. That was better than the last couple nights where I only got like 5.5 hours of sleep. But the last several weeks, I just have not really been able to get the best sleep. I've just been waking up earlier than I want to, and the biggest part is this new apartment that I'm living at is just frustrating. And despite that, it's like, I'm pushing through. I'm doing my workouts, and obviously I ran a 10-mile race this morning, so it's like, I did a mile warm-up and a mile cool-down. So the other thing is, again, not looking at this as an excuse. It was pretty hot out. It's probably one of the hotter races I ran. Yeah, it was in the morning. However, the race started at 8:30, so that's honestly kind of late. And I would say for most of the race, it was actually pretty hot. I mean, I think the weather app said 80 and cloudy, but it definitely is one of the hotter races that I've ran. And I'm normally good at running in the heat, so I drank my sodium. I didn't drink any Gatorade or have anything during the race. Usually, if it's half marathon or less, I really don't want to fuel for those, just kind of saving time. And usually, for me, it's a shorter race. So, if it's anything greater than that, then yeah, obviously you need to fuel. On top of that, yeah, not getting the best sleep, still pushing through. And the other thing is like, I've actually finished this week at 95 miles. So for most of my races, even like the half marathons or shorter races like these, I finished the weeks with like maybe, less miles. So maybe like 70, 77, like at most. And this week I finished with 95, and even though I didn't run the time that I wanted, and I did a track workout earlier, so that's still pretty good given the amount of mileage that I ran. Yeah, the last thing is I really, with all my races, I've always pushed through. So even though, it's frustrating, I'd say I just work really hard, and I always just finish as strong as I can and put 100% effort. Like, I'd say for the first several miles, yeah, I had thoughts like, this race sucks, I'm doing terrible, I didn't get the best sleep, and just thinking of negative things. But, I still managed to grind through and just finish the best that I could. So even though it wasn't the best race, I'd say that's kind of the number one thing that I feel like will serve me well throughout my life and running career, which I'm very passionate about, is just being able to finish strong. And so that's really all I got for today. And now, I plan on just eating some food and going to this lake to go swim and just kind of cool off. So I hope this can inspire you to do better. We're all going to have days where we don't perform the way we want to. And it doesn't even have to just be running. It could be, it could just be like work. It could be life. It could be anything. But, I just encourage you to stay strong. Don't give up. I believe that things are going to get better. I believe God makes a way even through these tough time periods. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. So thank you. And, you guys just don't quit. Don't give up.